I don't know if it was his best game, but it's probably in the conversation as far as Josh Allen's career is concerned. That fair?
Well, he didn't turn the ball over, which is good. He was definitely dealing at times in that game where he had plenty of time in the pocket. The one thing he corrected that he did last week was that he wasn't bailing out of the pocket nearly as much as he did last week. So that was a good thing. And certainly dispersing the ball. There were a few passes, probably more than a few passes, where he was just completely off on them. I remember one series where he threw one pretty inaccurately to Isaiah McKenzie on a swing pass, and that impacted his next two throws, which were just completely off because he was in his own head a little bit. But he has done a good job to bounce back and all of these different things, and Josh Allen was one of the biggest reasons why they dominated this game offensively. Miami is terrible, but that certainly helps, but they took advantage of it. They scored 30-plus points. He didn't get the 300 yards, but who cares? If the game script was, if Miami was anywhere close to better,
he would have had the 300.
Yeah, and if they were actually close in the game, then he would have been to that 300 level. So getting the 4 touchdowns, all very good things, and he has made it a habit of dominating this Miami team in terms of touchdowns as opposed to turnovers.
Someone tweeted me today that John Brown has been the Bills' MVP for the season. I don't know if I would go that far, but he was really good again today.
No, he's not the MVP of the season. That's still Tre'Davious White.
That's what I said.
In my mind. But I think John Brown today had that game where it's like, okay, this is the talent that they have there. This is the potential that he has. Going up against an absolute plum draw against like Ryan Lewis and Nick Needham, who, by the way, Nick Needham got hurt at one point in this game.
They were both supposed to dominate.
Yeah, well, John Brown more than anyone. And John Brown, for the first time, I believe, this season, played 100% of offensive snaps.
Okay.
And he was just outstanding, great route running. Josh Allen was looking his way all game long. And you could tell that the matchup was there to be had. He was dominating, even at a time where they tried to move the ball down the field and tried to throw it over the top of John Brown. Just taking that chance with him, trying to get that deep ball going with Josh Allen. They entrusted John Brown to do it, and he's been fantastic for them this year.
I think maybe the one negative takeaway from this game is probably the play of the special teams. They really struggled, especially with the onside kick and the kick returns that they allowed. Is that an area where they might need to make a change?
Well, bear in mind, they lost their best special teams player today. Saran Neal went down in the first half due to a concussion, and he did not return. And that side that they returned the kickoff for a touchdown to, that was Saran Neal's side. So that's not to totally excuse them, but all the same, I mean, when you have one of your best not in there, and you have maybe someone who doesn't get as many reps, in-game reps. They get them in practice, but not in-game. Then it becomes a bit of a problem area. So yes, they need to figure things out. They also need to be better at recognizing or being ready for a surprise onside kick, because that was another thing of this. But by leaps and bounds, special teams did kind of come around a little bit. Corey Bojorquez had another great day.
Yep.
Stephen Hauschka got back on track. Yep. So, you win some and you lose some with them.
It's a weird question because we both thought that they needed to come in here and dominate. Did we learn anything about the Bills today?
I'm not sure that we did. I mean, we saw the pass rushers get after it today, which was a good sign. And
against a JV offensive line.
Yeah, they're not great. Not great shakes at all. I mean, Jerry Hughes dominated his matchup. The defensive tackles did their thing. Same thing with Shaq Lawson and Trent Murphy was even getting in there a little bit. So this is a team that should have dominated up front, and they did. Another part of this is they completely shut down Kalen Ballage, who's one of the worst running backs in the league. I know he's a rookie, but he's not good.
Yeah.
And they just weren't able to get anything going on the ground, which put more pressure on Fitzpatrick. I am actually shocked Ryan Fitzpatrick did not throw an interception today.
Yeah.
I am absolutely surprised because normally Buffalo fans have seen it.
We've all seen it.
We've seen the game script. You get down by a ton of points.
You start chucking it all over the place.
He throws a touchdown here, moves the ball, and then all of a sudden, boom, the bottom comes out with the pick. And it almost happened.
Yep.
It almost happened. But yeah, this is now the Bills have not had an interception since the last Miami game, which is kind of a thing. They're not pressing, but it is at least an interesting statistic.
Something to keep in mind. Next week, we finally return back to New Era Field for a matchup with the Broncos. For Joe Buscaglia, I am Matt Bove in Miami. We'll talk to you guys later.